5 to 8, I mean 5 to 10. So I always wanted to know when rain starts and when it ends. Because, I always hear, because when my father and I go for the search of raise, grazing ground, we follow the rain. And my dad used to talk to people, other travelers, what is the rain? So all the news that is, by the way, has nothing to do with the radio or anything, just by mouth and people traveling all over the country. What is rain? So at that place there was rain, how long it lasted, how strong it was. And there are no like precise measurement like nowadays when they say millimeter. It only say like budget, mean like a lot of rain or small rain or rush, only sprinkling, and so on and so forth. And a very big rain, for instance, that leaves lake behind, that's really something good and rare. So, and I always back then, I remember, I I say, where does rain start? Why they say there is rain? Because my uh, conception of the world was that heaven is a flat over a flat earth. Then when rain comes, should like cover all the place. And by the way, I didn't know that there was anything except Mauritania, except actually the place where I was. I didn't even know. I'm not sure I know what Mauritania was. So, and there was this one incident where actually I think I remember where the rain started. I could clearly see this is like feet away is like dry. I mean, I don't know feet away, but we dry and then all of a sudden there is rain. And so we go. I remember those valleys that we drive the camel through. Very long, very wide, very beautiful. Every once in a while, you see like wild donkeys. I mean wild because no one apparently owned them. They are very strong, just like zebras. They go and then clean themselves in the sand, getting rid maybe of the bugs by bathing in the white sand, you know, and walk in those valleys like a dreamy, enterprise. And I remember that I couldn't tell anymore the dreams from the real life because I had so many dreams about driving our herd through those very wide sand valleys, with hills on the very long hills on the right and the left, like protecting them, or the real life. And so in the south, the wells are shallow, but and as you go northward, the wells become deeper and deeper. For some reason, my father wanted that place where the wells are deeper because it's supposed to be better for the camels. The camels don't like the south because there are certain like flies, iron betagugam, they call it, that would bite the camel and make them sick and even cause death. And this does not exist in the north, only in the south, because the south used to be a swamp Camels don't like swamp. Camels don't like cold weather. At least the type of camel that we raise. And yes, uh, so we go. We don't have a lot of provision, and so I remember when we drive very far, then we drive by very close to where I was born, Shobok. My father showed me where they left the camel when they died. It's like almost a ritual to him to pass by where the camel died, and I could see the bone. And my dad would tell me, "This camel name was so and so, and look at her daughter camel, and look at her. So she did so much for us. She was so and so." It was like he was crying, the the camel, in a way. And I always ask him question about camels, and then when I'm going to break out my own camel, and he always keep telling me to be patient, patient, but I wasn't. I didn't want to be patient. I really want to ride a small camel as my father was riding the big camel. So riding is just a figure of speech, but my dad hardly ever ride. He always like walk and just put our provision on the back of the camel. Like I said, provision is a little bit, exaggeration because we had really very little. We had only tea, sugar, and very little rice, I guess. Sometimes we have jerky, like meat jerky, and but very rare. So, and we have like dry cookies and peanuts, African peanuts. That's like our main source of nutrition. We sit and then under a tree, no one around, and then my dad stopped, you know, boiling water, starting the fire, fetch wood. My father never, he always does stuff, and then I always like go after him and then do the same thing. And then, and then he would like boil the water until it's so boiled, when he start the fire. And then he start with a little bit of tea inside the tea maker, and then wash it with boiling water, and then put that wash. That is the first wash. Is very very thick and very concentrated tea. He put it on the side. Like nowadays, people throw that away, but he does not throw it away because that's very precious. He put it in a small glass on the side for the second and third round when the tea gets diluted more and more. So, uh, and then he does not give me from the first round because it's strong. So he only drink that, and then the second round give me very little, you know, and I loved it because when other people, when the elders are around, they tell my father, "Why you spoiling the kids? Tea is not for kids. It's not good for them." So they may be right in that the maybe kids' stomach cannot, you know, digest or deal with tea. Maybe it's very aggressive on the stomach of a kid. But also there was another factor that tea was very precious, and traditionally only like people, with high rank in the society are the one who drink tea. It's a privilege rather than something that anyone drinks, you know. So I drink that tea, and then with tea in the morning, we uh, we eat like peanuts with dry cookies. I love that, and then we drink milk, you know, and it's it's so beautiful because the smell of the camel, and it's with drinking the milk from the address when the address is heated up before the milk, and it's just so tasty. And when I drink it, I get dizzy. You know, I got lightheaded, dizzy, and I cannot move around. My eyes like weak, lazy, and then it takes me some time. We say in our culture, يقبضني البن. Tea, meaning milk got a hold of me. That's what the saying when we get like lightheaded and so on, we drink milk. The sweeter, the better. And I saw how a camel is brought to the world. I saw the giving of birth of camels. I saw the how my father helped like um, husbandry, and he showed me how to make all the necessary stuff for the camel, like how to how to make the cords, you know, how to make the thing that you put on the udder, and all this stuff. I just watch him, and then I do the same thing, and then when I do a mistake or something, he tells me, yeah, I should do this and that, help me a little bit. It's very important that you know where you go. Orientation is key. You can never ever lose your orientation. I remember one time I lost my orientation, and I didn't know where we were going. I thought we were going away from where we go. And then it took me very long time until I saw where we were going. So sense of direction is key. You can never lose it. When you lose it, you know, it's really dangerous. So he left me one time. We so on our way, so we drive from usually from the south toward the north. So and we make like we make like breaks on the way. So he goes to Vrig, that is a group of like tents that belong to certain families. And then he knows everybody. So hi, how are you doing? And then they love that he is there because he gives them the milk and stuff. And I stay with them, and you know I missed like homeschooling that my grandmother was providing me, and he does not like have the same system as my grandmother. He wants me like to memorize stuff without using like pen and paper or without using the slates. And he always like sing. It was very good like poems, you know, that have a lot of knowledge in them, and then I memorize them just by virtue of me hearing him sing them, or when he deliberately tell me to memorize them, or memorize the small surat from Quran and the supplication and prayer. And he told me everything I'm going to learn, you know, just I should be patient, you know, start with the Quran, and then Al-Bulaymi, Ibn Ashir, Lamia, all of that. And he knows the people where I'm going to school to. And I have to mention here that my family traditionally uh, did not allow the kids to go to school. So we have homeschooling and we have our own like traditional religious school where they provide, uh, where they offer Arabic and Quran, sciences, Hadith sciences, and jurisprudence sciences, and stuff like that. So traditionally, and uh, it was not accepted that a kid is sent to the French school. It was kind of cultural resistance that, for instance, I was the first kid in my family who was allowed to go to quote unquote the French school. It was like blasphemous to do that, you know. Even some people said that like it's a betrayal of our faith and our tradition and our culture. A very big debate, people wrote about it, you know. And even I read some French writer who wrote specifically about my family and my tribe and how they did not want to deal with the French at all. And uh, and yeah, so when we got to Tinjagmaik, where my aunt lived, that is his sister. He has only one sister, one brother. The brother died before, I think, before I was born. And then my aunt died when I was in Guantanamo Bay. So went to the aunt. I remember her. She always was very careful, like to him, like kids can. He gave me tea. He let me eat the thing that older people eat, and he think that everything can be cured. You know, he has like this antibiotic like pomade that he puts, you know, on stuff, and then it cured them. And yeah, I have to say, like, so this pomade that he has, and and he has this knife. He always has his knife. He never get rid of the knife, and he has a very good like uh, torch, like light. And he said he liked only the English one. I was wondering what was the English one. He said it doesn't matter how you lay the battery inside, it always gives light. You know, backward they give light, forward they give light. He said Hungarian, the English one, is better. And and he has of course his bell, and and he smoke a lot, so he has his smoking kit. Never get rid of it. So always like enough tobacco and very good set smoking set. So and his sister, my aunt, was against all of this. She was against smoking. She was against kids like eating like the same stuff that older people eat, because the kids should be are very like delicate. So there I was she provided me with like schooling. She started schooling me, even though I stayed only a very short time. And the other kid that is the her grandkids were making fun of me because they read about like 6 or 7 parts of the Quran already, some of them much more advanced, and I was in the first part of the Quran. And that really hurts me a lot because they were making fun of me. My eyes, I felt sick, and my eyes had an infection, I guess. You know, the red eye, painful. I wake up every day and then I cannot open my eyes, filled with some juice, I don't know. It's so painful. And then she said she knows how to cure this. And she put some gum, I think, some local plants, and it felt horrible, honestly, horrible. I didn't think it cured me. And then uh, my father decided to send me back home, and then my brother Shidu came, and then he took me. And then for the first time ever, I rode a car. It was a truck, I think 404 Peugeot, and and they put me in the pickup from behind, and then I was like shaken, and I was like wrong because of the very uneven ground where we drove. I don't know. I don't remember whether I threw up or something, but it was like a very bad experience with cars. So, and then we came to Nouakchott, but because I was so sick, I don't I don't consider that like seeing Nouakchott because I haven't seen anything because of my eye. Then we drove, we continued our way to to uh, Nouakchott, to Rosso, where I live, and then I stayed there with my mother. I don't know whether was like 77, 6 maybe, and yes. So when we catch rain, we stayed under a tree. We stayed under a tree, and then I kind of loved it a little bit because action, and so and yeah.